chancroid sore. Here, chancroid is having the hard raised edges. And this is about the chancroid. Haemophilus duceri organism involved. And here you can see the groove sign seen in cases of LGV. Yeah, you can see the two enlarged lymph glands. Lymph glands are enlarged here, you can see here. And there is a groove between these two glands. This is a groove sign and it is seen in cases of LGV. See, groove sign. Here you can see the groove sign. Because in the LGV, there is an involvement of multiple inguinal lymph nodes. So multiple inguinal lymph nodes are involved and there are formation of lymphangitis and lymphadenitis, and there will be in future it will become necrosis will be there, and they forms the buboes or the abscesses which ruptures within 7 to 15 days to form the sinuses or fistula. And here the classical clinical sign of LGV is the groove sign. You can see here the groove sign. So this is important. And here you can see how these LGV lesions looks like. You can see LGV lesions around the vagina and the vulva area. You can see the same thing. You can see ulceration of the vulva, rectum and groin area. How the ulceration is seen here in the diagram. And tender hard masses buboes arise in the inguinal region. Tender hard masses can be seen, and here you can see the ulceration on the labia. If untreated, there will be extensive scarring in the rectum and the vagina. So this is about the LGV. Next disease we'll see later. So coming to the diagnosis of LGV, culture and isolation. Culture and isolation, how we'll do? By the lymph node aspiration. We have to aspirate the lymph node which is involved, and then we have to do its culture and isolation. Then if we find the LGV organism is nothing but the Chlamydia trichomatis of L123 series, that is the L series. L series is the confirmatory diagnosis of these organisms. Detection of LGV antigen in the pus obtained from the buboes with specific monoclonal antibodies using the immunofluorescence method. You can also detect the LGV antigens in the pus which is obtained from these abscesses or the buboes. Detection of LGV antigens can also be done by the ELISA method. LGV complement fixation test when positive with a rising titer of more than 1:64 is also diagnostic. Then intradermal freeze test is non-specific. It is not specific. Okay. Coming to its treatment. What is the treatment of LGV? Prevention. First of all, prevention. Yes, prevention is always better than the cure. So use of condoms or to avoid intercourse with a suspected infected partner. This is a very important thing, not only to prevent LGV but to prevent all other types of STIs. Coming to its treatment is very simple. Doxycycline 100 mg BID for at least 21 days, or alternatively you can give azithromycin 1 gram per oral weekly for 3 weeks. Means weekly one azithromycin 1 gram is enough, and you have to give it for 3 weeks. Means 3 weeks weekly one dose is enough. Or you can give the erythromycin 500 mg orally every 6 hours for 21 days. Yes, and it is indicated for pregnant women. If she is carrying, then you have to continue the treatment for 21 days. Sexual partner should also be treated. Yes, always you should treat the partner of a person who is infected with STIs. Coming to the surgical treatment, as there are formation of abscesses here. So abscess, usually what we do for abscess? Abscess means what? Abscess is nothing but a cavity containing a pus inside. Cavity containing a fluid is called as a cyst. Okay, difference between cyst and abscess is when the cyst will be there, there will be a cavity containing the fluid inside, and whenever this fluid is pus in nature, then it is called as pus. If pus is present in the cavity, then it is called as abscess. So usually for abscesses there is a standard treatment of IND, incision and drainage. We have to incise it with a knife and then we have to drain the pus out. So that is the classical treatment of abscesses. But here, instead of excising and draining, it's better to do the aspiration. Means with a syringe, you have to remove the contents of it. That is a much better thing in cases of these abscesses. Manual dilatation of the strictures weekly, because here as a complication there will be formation of strictures in the rectum and the vagina. Means the obstruction will be there, so you have to dilate it manually. Means by inserting the fingers you can dilate it, or you can use the dilators also, which are available in different sizes, to dilate these strictures. And here it is essential to use the antibiotics during the preoperative period. So if you want to go for these surgical procedures, you can better to start the antibiotic before performing the surgical procedures. So this is all about the LGV, lymphogranuloma venerum diseases. So next STD or STI is donovanosis or granuloma inguinale. Granuloma inguinale. So here it is a chronic progressive granulomatous disease involving the vulva, vagina, or cervix. It is commonly found in some tropical areas, subtropics also, like South China, South India, etc., South America, etc. Causative organisms of donovanosis is the gram-negative intracellular bacilli or Donovania granulomatous, or Calymatobacterium granulomatous. So causative organisms of each STI is important. You should remember the names of the causative organisms. Okay, this is very very important. Then coming to the clinical features of donovanosis or granuloma inguinale, the disease usually manifests itself in 10 to 18 days after coitus with the infected partner. So it is mainly the through the sexual contact, you can say it is a sexually transmitted one. The lesion starts as a pustules. How the lesions will be? They are the pustules, okay, which break down and erode the adjacent tissues through the continuity and contiguity. The ulcer looks hypertrophic, beefy red color ulcer due to indurated granulation tissue. So first starts as a pustules, then it breaks up, then there will be formation of an ulcer which is hypertrophic and very reddish in color, beefy red in color the ulcer will be, and they are having the induration tissue also there. Margins of these ulcers are raised, elevated margins. Ulcer is beefy red with raised elevated margins. Lymph nodes do not undergo suppuration and abscess formation will be there. Diagnosis is by demonstrating these Donovan bodies within the materials which is scraped out from the ulcers when stained by the Gimsa method. See, you have to collect these materials which are coming out from these ulcers. You have to demonstrate it under the microscope, and you have to find out the Donovan bodies. Donovan bodies are the clusters of the dark staining bacteria with a bipolar appearance found within the mononuclear cells. So you will find these bacteria, they have the cluster of dark stain color bacteria you will find, and these are nothing but the specific characteristics of these Donovan bodies. Treatment, usually it does respond well to a broad spectrum antibiotics. So these also respond very good to the treatment. Same treatment just like that of LGV is applicable here. Doxycycline 100 mg BID for at least 3 weeks, but here to give for 3 weeks. Or you can also give the ciprofloxacin 750 mg BID for at least 2 weeks is given. The residual destructive lesion in the vulva may require plastic surgery or vulvectomy. Sometimes the lesions may destruct the whole area because it involves, as you have told, the lesion involves the adjacent tissues also. So it destructs the entire area of the vulva. In that case, plastic surgery may be needed to correct the area. Or sometimes we may need to go for vulvectomy, complete removal of the vulva in the when the lesion is very destructive. So early diagnosis is always important of these types of STDs. If are diagnosed early, they can be treated easily. Okay, this is all about Donovan bodies or Donovanosis, granuloma inguinale. Next disease is the bacterial vaginosis or the BV, bacterial vaginitis. We are using the word vaginosis, not we are not using vaginitis. Vaginitis means inflammation or infection of the vagina. But here we are using the word vaginosis, not vaginitis. Okay, vaginosis because there is no inflammation of vagina here. The term vaginosis is preferred as there is no vaginal inflammation. As there is no vaginal inflammation, so we are using the word vaginosis in front of instead of vaginitis. Vaginitis is not used, vaginosis is used. Okay. So bacterial vaginosis. The causative organism of this is Gardnerella vaginalis or Haemophilus vaginalis. Sometimes another organisms may involve together to cause the infections like mycoplasma, bacterial species like Peptococcus, etc. They together can cause a vaginal infection. Clinically, it is characterized by a creamy vaginal discharge with a fishy smell without extensive evidence of inflammation. See, there are vaginal discharges. Vaginal discharges are there, but there is no inflammation in the vagina. There is no inflammation of the vagina, only vaginal discharges are seen here in this case. So, this is a characteristic of the bacterial vaginosis. And what is the nature of vaginal discharge here? The nature of vaginal discharge is the color is creamy, consistency is somewhat creamy vaginal discharge with a fishy smell. The characteristics of BV is a fishy smell of the vaginal discharges. Okay, but there is no extensive inflammation of the vagina. Clinical features is characterized by malodorous vaginal discharge. Malodorous is having the odor, no, that is a malodorous vaginal discharge. Fishy smell is there. And the term vaginosis is preferred as there is no vaginal inflammation here. The discharge is homogeneous, grayish white. The color of the discharge is grayish white and it is adherent to the vaginal wall. So discharges are adherent to the vaginal wall. Clinical implications of BV in pregnancy are here the importance is that if bacterial vaginosis can occur even in pregnancy, it can cause complication if occurs in pregnancy. So what may be the complications when the bacterial vaginosis occurs in the pregnant lady? The complications may include the infection. See, whenever there is infection in the pregnancy, it can lead to the complication like preterm rupture of membrane. PROM. PROM is preterm rupture of membrane. The membrane should not rupture before the labor. But here what happened? It ruptures early, leading to the early labor. Then preterm labor, yes. When the membrane is ruptured, there will be preterm labor and chorioamniotis. There will be inflammation of these membranes, fetal membranes. So these are the complications when it occurs in the pregnancy. Complications of BV includes recurrent infections leading to PID. See, it can also cause PID when it is occurring again and again. Recurrent infection may lead to pelvic inflammatory diseases in future. Development of PID following abortion or vaginal cuff cellulitis following hysterectomy, etc. can also. Yes. Hello. What happened?